Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, stretch a little, and then feel that slight heaviness in your chest or maybe a shortness of breath when climbing a few stairs? Maybe you brushed it off, thinking, I'm just getting older, or I probably didn't sleep well last night. But let me ask you this, what if some of the things you're doing every day, without even realizing it, are slowly wearing down your heart? And I'm not just talking about the big stuff like smoking or never exercising. No, I'm talking about the quiet little habits. The ones that sneak into your routine so gently, they feel normal. They feel harmless. But over time, they might be doing more damage than you think. Now, I'm not here to scare you. Quite the opposite. I want you to feel in control. Because when you know what's going on in your own body and what simple changes you can make, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding life to your years. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 daily habits that may be quietly damaging your heart health. These aren't just tips for people in their 20s and 30s, we're focusing on you. Your body, your lifestyle, and the things that matter most when you're in your 60s, 70s, or even beyond. So grab a cup of tea, get comfortable, and let's have a real, honest chat. Because it's never too late to take better care of yourself. In fact, this might be the perfect time to start. Let's start with something so common, so ordinary, that most people don't even think twice about it. Sitting. Just sitting. Now, don't get me wrong, rest is important. You deserve to take it easy after a lifetime of working, raising families, and showing up for others. But here's the thing, sitting for long stretches without getting up and moving around is one of the sneakiest heart hazards out there. And it doesn't matter if you're sitting while reading, watching TV, or scrolling through your phone, it all adds up. When we sit for hours without moving, our circulation slows down. The heart doesn't get that gentle push from our muscles that it normally gets when we walk, stand, or stretch. Over time, that can lead to higher blood pressure, higher blood sugar, and more fat circulating in the bloodstream, all of which are hard on the heart. And here's something I find many people don't know, even if you exercise once a day, say you go for a morning walk, that's not enough to counteract the damage from sitting for the other 10 or 12 hours. Our bodies were made to move throughout the day. But that doesn't mean you need to start jogging laps around your living room. A simple routine like standing up every 30 minutes, walking to the kitchen, doing a few gentle stretches, or even just walking in place for a minute or two can make a real difference. One woman I spoke to, she's 72, started doing a little standing shuffle while brushing her teeth. It sounds silly, but those 2 minutes twice a day added up to real, regular movement. And more importantly, she said she started to feel more energetic and less stiff in her joints. Her doctor even noticed her blood pressure had come down a bit at her next checkup. So the next time you catch yourself getting comfortable in your chair, try to make a deal with yourself, every hour, I'll move just a little. That tiny habit could be giving your heart a much-needed break. Now, let's talk about something else that's easy to overlook, what's going on in the kitchen. Not necessarily the obvious stuff like fried food or sweets. I want to talk about salt. And before you say, I don't even use the salt shaker, hear me out. Most of the salt we eat doesn't come from that little shaker on the table. It's hidden in processed foods, things like canned soups, frozen meals, deli meats, even bread and breakfast cereals. It sneaks in where you least expect it. And for our hearts, too much salt over time means trouble. It pulls extra water into the blood vessels, making the heart work harder to push all that fluid around. That raises blood pressure, and over time, it can lead to heart strain and even heart failure. I knew a gentleman in his mid-60s who always thought he ate pretty well. He didn't go out for fast food, rarely ate dessert, and cooked at home most nights. But he used canned beans, store-bought sauces, and frozen dinners to make things easier on himself. Nothing wrong with that, right? Well, when he started checking the labels, really looking, he was shocked. Some of those foods had nearly his entire daily limit of sodium in one serving. Once he started rinsing canned beans, choosing lower sodium versions of soups, and seasoning with herbs instead of salt, he noticed something unexpected. The swelling in his ankles started to go down. He said his fingers didn't feel as puffy in the mornings. And his heart doctor was thrilled with the drop in his blood pressure. The key here isn't to eliminate salt completely. Your body still needs a little. But cutting back where you can, especially in processed foods, gives your heart a much lighter workload. And believe me, it will thank you for it. Alright, now let's get into something that might surprise you. Even if you're eating well and staying active, stress can still sneak in and cause trouble. And I'm not talking about big, dramatic stress, like losing a job or going through a major life event. I'm talking about that low, daily hum of stress that many people carry around without realizing it. Things like worrying about your grandkids, dealing with financial concerns, or even feeling lonely or restless during the day. These feelings may seem small, but they keep your body in a constant alert mode. And that means higher levels of stress hormones, like cortisol, floating around in your bloodstream. Over time, those hormones raise your blood pressure, increase inflammation, and make your heart beat faster than it needs to. It's like keeping your engine revving, even when you're parked in the driveway. But here's the good news. Your mind is powerful, and there are gentle, natural ways to calm that stress response without needing to overhaul your life. One of the most effective ways? Breathing. That's right, just breathing. Slow, deep breaths send signals to your nervous system that say, hey, we're safe. You can relax. Try this sometime. Sit comfortably, close your eyes if that feels good, and take a slow breath in for 4 seconds, then breathe out for 6. Do that 5 or 6 times. You might be amazed at how your body responds. Your shoulders drop, your heart slows a little, and that racing mind starts to settle. One woman I know, she does this every evening before bed, calls it her unwind ritual. It helps her sleep better, and she swears her heart feels calmer. Her doctor told her she was doing exactly what her body needed, giving it a break from that constant undercurrent of stress. And don't forget how important simple connections are. A 10-minute chat with a friend, a daily walk with your partner, even writing in a journal, these things have real, physical effects on your heart health. They lower your stress, regulate your heartbeat, and help your body feel safe and supported. Now that we've talked about how movement, sodium, and stress can quietly affect your heart, let's move into something that might hit a little closer to home: sleep. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, of course sleep is important. I've heard that 100 times. But this isn't just about getting any kind of sleep. It's about getting good sleep. The kind that truly restores your body, and especially your heart. The truth is, as we get older, our sleep patterns change. That's normal. You might wake up earlier than you used to, or find it harder to stay asleep through the night. But poor quality sleep, especially if it's happening night after night, can quietly damage your heart over time. It increases your risk of high blood pressure, irregular heartbeats, and even heart disease. And here's the sneaky part. Sometimes we don't even realize how poor our sleep is. Maybe you wake up feeling groggy, or you're relying on a nap every afternoon just to make it through the day. Or perhaps you fall asleep easily but wake up several times without even remembering it. These could all be signs that your heart isn't getting the rest it needs. Think of your heart like a worker who never gets a proper lunch break. Sure, it can keep going for a while. But eventually, the stress builds up. It gets tired. And that's when problems start to show up. But here's the good news: improving your sleep doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, one of the best things you can do starts before your head ever hits the pillow. It starts with your evening routine. Try to keep things gentle and predictable in the hour before bed. Dim the lights, turn off the news or anything that's too stimulating, and do something calming. That might be reading, listening to soft music, or taking a warm shower. Even just turning down the brightness on your phone or tablet can make a big difference. And please, don't underestimate the power of comfort. A good pillow, a supportive mattress, and cozy bedding can all help signal to your body that it's time to rest. Your environment matters more than most people think. There's one more thing I want to mention here that a lot of folks in their 60s and beyond don't talk about enough: sleep apnea. It's more common than you might expect, especially as we age, and it's often overlooked. If you've ever been told you snore loudly, Or if you wake up feeling like you're gasping or choking, it's worth bringing up with your doctor. Untreated sleep apnea puts serious strain on the heart over time, even if you feel fine during the day. A dear friend of mine in her 70s always felt tired no matter how much she slept. She just assumed that's what getting older felt like. But after a sleep study, she discovered she had mild sleep apnea. Now, with a little help at night, she says she wakes up feeling like herself again. More energy, clearer thinking, and her heart isn't working overtime anymore. So don't ignore your sleep. It's not a luxury, it's a form of heart care. Every good night's rest is like a gift you're giving your heart. Now, let's talk about one more habit that might be surprising. And this one, believe it or not, has to do with food again. Not what you eat, but how you eat. Have you ever rushed through a meal without really tasting it? Or maybe eaten while distracted, watching TV, reading, or scrolling on your phone. We all do it sometimes. But here's the thing, eating too quickly or eating without mindfulness can actually affect your heart health more than you might realize. When you eat too fast, your body doesn't have time to register that it's full. That means you're more likely to overeat, which puts extra strain on your digestive system and your heart. Your blood pressure can spike, and if it becomes a regular thing, it can contribute to weight gain, high cholesterol, and yes, more stress on that hard-working heart. Plus, rushing through meals often means we're not chewing our food properly. That might sound like a small thing, but proper chewing helps with digestion, nutrient absorption, and even blood sugar control. And all of those connect right back to your heart. Now, I'm not saying you need to turn every meal into a formal occasion. But what if, just for one meal a day, you sat down without distractions, took a deep breath before you started, and really tasted your food? What if you chewed a little slower, set your fork down between bites, and gave your body the chance to enjoy and process each bite? A couple I know started doing this together after one of them had a heart scare. They called it their slow dinner. No TV, no phones, just them, their meal, and a little music in the background. Not only did they start feeling better physically, but they also said it brought them closer. Dinner became something to look forward to again, not just another task to check off the list. That kind of mindful eating helps your heart in more ways than one. It reduces stress, improves digestion, and helps you feel more satisfied with less food. And it turns something routine, eating, into something healing. Now, before we move on, I want you to take a moment and think about your day. Are you sitting for long stretches without moving? Is most of your food coming from a package? Do you feel tense or worried more often than not? Is your sleep a bit off lately? Are your meals rushed or distracted? If any of those make you nod your head, you're not alone. The beautiful thing about being where you are in life is that you've already done the hard part. You've lived. You've learned. You've made it this far. Now it's just about tuning in, listening to your body, and gently adjusting your course so you can feel as good as possible. And if that sounds like a big task, let me tell you something, it's not about being perfect. It's about being present. Small, consistent changes add up. Just standing up a little more, cutting back on salt where you can, finding little moments of peace, sleeping better, and slowing down at the table, it all adds up to something powerful. Let's keep this going, because there's one more habit that's incredibly important and often overlooked, and it's something many of us deal with quietly every single day. Loneliness. Now, this one might not seem like it has anything to do with your heart, but it absolutely does. More than most people realize. Feeling lonely isn't just something that happens when you're alone. You can feel it even when you're surrounded by people, even when you have family who loves you. It's that quiet feeling of being unseen, unheard, or like you're no longer part of the rhythm of life like you used to be. And for so many people in their 60s and beyond, it becomes part of daily life without them even noticing it at first. But here's the truth, loneliness isn't just an emotional experience. It's physical. It affects your health, your heart. Studies have shown that people who experience regular feelings of loneliness or social isolation have a much higher risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, and even early death. It's as dangerous as smoking or obesity. That's how serious it is. And yet, it's still so often swept under the rug. Because admitting we feel lonely can be hard. It can feel vulnerable. Like we're admitting something's wrong with us. But let me tell you right now, there's nothing wrong with you for feeling lonely. It doesn't mean you're weak. It just means you're human. We are wired to connect. That doesn't mean you need a house full of people every day, but it does mean your heart benefits from meaningful connection, even a little. One woman I know started volunteering once a week at her local library, just helping shelve books. It wasn't anything glamorous, but she said those 2 hours changed everything for her. She made new friends, felt useful, and looked forward to seeing the same familiar faces each week. Her energy went up, her mood lifted, and she said, "I feel like I matter again." Another man joined a community walking group, nothing intense, just a group of folks meeting a couple mornings a week to stroll through the park together. They talked, shared stories, laughed. He said his chest didn't feel so tight anymore. That walking helped, yes, but the talking helped more. Connection heals. Conversation heals. Laughter, even quiet companionship, it all gives your heart something medicine can't, joy. If you're not sure where to start, begin small. A phone call to an old friend. Sending a card to someone you've been thinking about. Saying hello to a neighbor you usually just nod at. It doesn't have to be complicated. And you don't have to wait for someone else to reach out. You can be the one who takes the first step. Your heart responds to kindness, to company, to being needed and valued. And make no mistake, you are needed. You have so much life, wisdom, and love left to give. The world still needs your voice, your presence, your story. So when you think about your heart health, don't stop at the physical. Your emotional and social well-being are just as important. Nourish those parts of yourself too. And here's the beautiful part about everything we've talked about. These aren't massive, life-altering changes. They're small, daily choices. Simple shifts that add up over time to a heart that's stronger, healthier, and happier. Stand up and stretch a little more often. Keep an eye on those sneaky salty foods. Take moments to breathe, rest, and slow your mind. Protect your sleep like the precious thing it is. Eat your meals with care and presence. And most importantly, reach out. Stay connected. Let others love you. Let yourself love back. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. A little better today than yesterday. That's enough. That's how change happens. And listen, I know it's easy to think, well, I'm too old for this to matter now. But don't you believe that for a second. Your heart is still beating. That means it's still listening. It's still ready to get stronger. To feel better. To carry you into the next chapter of your life with more energy, more joy, and more peace. So here's my gentle challenge to you. Pick just one of these habits to work on this week. Just one. Whether it's standing up more, or calling someone you've been missing, or taking 5 deep breaths before bed. Choose one small thing and let that be your starting point. And if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Thank you for taking your health seriously, for being open, curious, and willing to make a change. That alone is something to be proud of. If any of what we talked about today resonated with you, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what habit are you going to start with? What change are you most excited about? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If you found this helpful, go ahead and give this video a like. It really helps more people see it. And if you want more videos like this, all about living better and healthier after 60, hit that subscribe button and join our little community here. You are so welcome here. Here's to living your best life at every age. Because it's not about going back in time, it's about making the most of the time you have. And your heart? It's ready for that. Take care of yourself. You matter. And I'll see you next time.